Lawyers, what were your, this guy isn't winning cases? 1. Friend who is a criminal defense attorney was called at 3 a.m. by the presiding judge. The sheriff is on his way to arrest your client, who is having his bond revoked. I am calling you at 3 a.m. about that because he is having his bond revoked for posting a real name social media threat directed at me and my family. 2. Had a client tell me she couldn't be charged with drunk driving because her boyfriend was steering from the passenger seat and she was just working the pedals. Pass that consult on to someone else with no shame. 3. Committed crime, then immediately text messages not one, but two friends, I just committed said crime. 4. I used to work in forensic science and had to testify a lot. One of my coworkers was on his way to testify when he passed by a courtroom that had its door open, and heard the attorney screaming at his client, "How can you show up drunk to a DUI trial?" 5. I worked for a trial graphics firm and was working on a case where a forklift driver was driving maniacally and ran into a cinderblock wall of a new construction. It caused enough damage that a gentleman on a ladder on the second level of the structure fell and fractured some vertebrae. The forklift driver was reprimanded the day prior for driving the forklift in an unsafe manner. In his deposition, he bragged about how many speeding tickets and traffic violations he racked up in his Corvette. It was fun watching the deposition back with the plaintiff's attorney. 6. Client sued for injuries from a car accident. He had about 3 or 4 other accidents within the 3 years prior. One of them was a big rollover accident. He had medical treatment for all of them, but he only disclosed the accidents that were not the rollover. Also, insurance company saw on his Instagram that he went skiing even though he was complaining about pain in his lower back that was so bad he couldn't walk. We should never have taken the case, I don't know why the office signed him up. 7. Not a lawyer but was in court to testify. Defendant in another case is pleading guilty. The judge requires him to allocute and he gives a detailed description of his crime. He finishes, the judge looks at some paperwork and says, "Sir, that's not what you're charged with." 8. Child visitation case. Mother argues for less visitation because father is always late, also in bringing the child to school, and generally unreliable. Father is a whooping 38 minutes late to the hearing.